Hi, so this is going to be a short video about how to change the path or add to the path on your Mac, specifically on the terminal. Now, this is really something that you will only run into mostly if you're a coder or a developer or if you're installing a lot of stuff. And if I go to the terminal right now, and if I say echo path, you will see that the path is this long string separated by colons, and each of these values between the colons is a new path added to the overall path string. And so basically, in a nutshell, if you don't already know this, every time something has to be run, the Mac will go to these paths and it'll try to find the application you're trying to run on one of these directory paths. And so if you install a new version of Python or Flutter or whatever it is, sometimes you have to manually add something to this path, although most of the time it works, but sometimes for me, every 6 months or so, I have to mess around with it. And the thing is, I always forget how to do it, although it's ridiculously simple. It's just one line to one file, but I always forget which file and what is the format of the line. And so I'm making this video so that I can remember it next time, and I can just sort of, this is for my future me, and maybe it'll help out a few other people as well. So let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is to open the Finder. And if I go here, you go to the folder, which is your base folder, your home folder, which has a little home icon. In my case, it's called Farid because that's my name, but you might have named it differently, which is fine. Wherever that folder is, look in the applications, look in all the folders underneath it. And you don't see anything which looks remotely like it could be something where the path can be changed. And that's the first trick. You have to make the files for this are basically hidden by default by the system, and you have to unhide them to get anything done. And the keyboard shortcut, this is important because I always forget this, the keyboard shortcut for that is Shift Command period. I'm pressing that now, Shift Command period. And as you can see instantly, I get all of these grayed out files. They all start with a dot. That's how you remember the shortcut, by the way. The shortcut is Command Shift dot or period because they all start with a period. And don't mess with them because a lot of these are system files, but the one file that we're interested in is right here. It's called zshrc, .zshrc. It's in the home folder. And if I come here, you can just double click it. A lot of people will tell you to open it in terminal in Vim or something like that. But honestly, you can just double click it from here. It'll open in TextEdit, which is absolutely fine. And it's a long file. Depending on your configuration, it might have a lot of stuff. Don't worry about any of this. Just come to the end of it. Now, in my case, there's already an export path statement here. But even if you don't have it, just look at the format. I'm just going to add something new to it and we'll see how it's done. So I add one more export path. Now I'm going to call this path testing. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of all this and I'm going to say /testing. This is not a real path, but I'm just demonstrating this. Now the format is, let me just walk you through this. You say export, then you say capitals PATH, and then you have the equal sign. There is no space between path and equals, by the way, or after as well. This is important. If you put a space in, it won't work, right? It's one of the gotchas that always gets me. And then just within the quote marks, have the path that you want. In my case, I'm just putting in a non-existing path, but you will have something like, /dev or /homebrew/bin or whatever it is that you're trying to add. And then close that path with a colon. And then have $caps PATH. Now this will do is, this is the old value of the path, and it will prepend the new path to the beginning of the old path string. I'll just show you in a minute what this means. So you just put this file in, and you save this file, Control S, and then you just close it, no problem. And basically you're done. I can close TextEdit. So the file has been updated. Now if I come back here to the terminal, I have the echo path again. You don't see the testing yet. That's because the terminal was already open. After you've changed the file, you have to relaunch the terminal or open a new terminal. So I'm just going to close the terminal here like so. And I'm just going to open up a new instance. And now if I go to echo path, you see this /testing that we added right at the beginning. Okay. And that's all there is to it, really. Like I said, very, very simple, but it can be frustrating when you don't know where to find the file or what keyboard shortcut to use or what's the exact format to add. Also, one of the gotchas is that for all the recent Macs, the default shell is ZSH. And you can see it over here as well, ZSH. It used to be Bash few years ago, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And so if you Google, a lot of advice is for the Bash file. And so you get very lost because they're talking about Bash files and you start looking for it. So just remember, if you have a recent Mac, you have a ZSH shell by default. And so these instructions that I've just told you will work. By the way, some cases, you might not have a ZSH RC file in this folder. If it's a completely brand new installation, you might not have it. and that's okay. You can actually create this file, just call it .zshrc, and if it's empty, all you need to do is to add this one. You don't have to worry about anything else, just add this one line to it and it will still work. All the other things generally come as you install more and more things. They add their own lines to it. A lot of this is commented, by the way, and a lot of it is coming from different things that I've installed. Flutter added its own path. It's actually commented right now and so on and so forth. And that's it. That's a short and sweet video, and I think I will look up this video later on when I will inevitably forget how to do this, and hopefully some of you found this useful as well. Thanks for watching.